Nieskuteczność. Medicept. Prawdziwa dezynfekcja.
10 gwiazd internetu. Gotowi na wyzwania? Fame czy shame?
Wiedziałem, że wygrają!
Ja wiedziałem, jest w formie.
Wiedziałem, że nie odpuszczą.
Wiedziałam, że go pokona.
Wiedziałem, że będą 3 punkty!
Wiedziała.
Wiedziałem!
Wiedziałem, że awansują.
Z naszym wsparciem musieli wygrać.
Dobrze wiesz. Warto wspierać.
Sponsorem programu jest TAURON, sprzedawca prądu i gazu.
Good evening, it's round 2 of the TAURON Speedway Euro Championship and the return of top flight racing to one of Poland's most famous venues. Bydgoszczy has hosted spectacular Grand Prix and World Cup meetings in the past. Now after 6 years, it's back in the spotlight. This is the second of 5 rounds. We now race every Wednesday in July. Leon Madsen won the opener up the road at TAURON, but the overall series lead is held by Nicky Pedersen and Great Britain's Robert Lambert, who both scored 14 points on Saturday. All set up for a great night at the Polonia Stadium. I'm Dave Rowe, alongside me is the former world champion Sam Malenko. Sam, great to see Bydgoszczy back.
Oh, absolutely. I've had lots of laps around here in the early 90s, and it's got a unique kind of shape to it. It's pretty round all the way around. If the track's got some grip in it, the riders are right up against the fence.
Taking a look at the riders in tonight's meeting, and you'll see about to come through the shot Emil Saipodinov, the former double Speedway Euro champion and a very popular man here at Bydgoszczy, and he is in as a wildcard. That's what's shaking up tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a funny, unique track, as I've already mentioned. And some of these guys right here, I don't know how many of them actually have much experience around here at Bydgoszczy. The track weighs in at 348 meters. If that's the right terminology. Anyway, it's a nice big round track, and if it's prepared well, it's great.
Well, this has not been a top-flight Polish venue for some time. They were relegated out of the Polish League the top flight several years ago. They've only just made their way back into Division 1, which gets underway this weekend. So, as you say, a number of the top boys have not raced here on a regular basis, and that could make things more of a leveller. We saw in TAURON on Saturday, very difficult indeed for some of the boys that haven't been competing regularly. But as they make their way onto the circuit for heat number 1, a quick reminder of where we stand in the series after the opener. Nicky Pedersen and Robert Lambert both on 14 points from the opening round. Leon Madsen, the former champion, has 12 points. Bartosz Smektala with 11, and Mikkel Mikkelsen with 10, the defending champion. They are the top runners from the first round in TAURON. This is the second of 5 rounds. There is Robert Lambert riding in red inside gate heat 1. Had quite a tough draw on Saturday, but I don't think he'll be complaining too much about his draw in this particular meeting. He'll be up against Timo Lahti, Kai Hülkenberg and Václav Minik in the first race. The back straight at Bydgoszczy has a new stand that's been opened this week, a 2,500 capacity stand when distancing requirements aren't in play. There'll be a crowd of around 2,500 to 3,000 here tonight, but that new stand on the back straight you will notice as the riders go round for the first time. There is Kai Hülkenberg, but Robert Lambert, Sam, off the inside, looking like a fast start tonight. Yeah, he's been going really well too, and in the league racing that's been on television with the Polish side of things. I've been watching him, and he has just got his bike is going really fast. He's riding with a lot of confidence, and he's also very smart too. He's not taking unnecessary chances. And being on that inside gate around this track is probably a bit of a bonus for your first race out. There's the line of 4 heat 1. Lambert in red off the inside, Lahti in blue off gate 2, Hülkenberg in white off gate 3, Milik in yellow off the outside. Hülkenberg in white will be a Bydgoszczy rider this season in Division 1, making the move back to Bydgoszczy after riding for Łódź last season. As I say, that league has not got underway yet, so there won't be any particular home track advantage with that one. Artur Kuzmierz is the referee this evening. He refereed the round in Boyens last year, also has Grand Prix experience too, and he's on the buttons tonight. Of course, there was one controversial decision by the referee in TAURON on Saturday that went against Kasper Verena. We'll see what happens. 20 heats, 3-2-1 normal scoring, top 2 to the final, next 4 into the last chance. Away they go with the opening race, and Lambert makes a fast start, picks up some lift on the inside, but still race leads. Larty trying to go around him in blue in second place, Milik in third with Hülkenberg out the back, and Lambert making good use of gate 1 there to drive to that first bend in front of Timo Larty. Slight yellow shape on the turns 1 and 2, controlled it neatly. Larty is challenging hard, but Lambert so far riding it right, the British boy out in front.
He's riding really well too. This is a track that you don't want to really put your front wheel on the white line, because of the shape of it will kind of make you, it's almost four corners in a way if you ride the inside line. But Robert's got a nice smooth line coming off the apex, and he gets his wheels in line right there and gets going and makes a long straightaway out of it.
Lambert has it over Larty. It's Milik in third place, fending off Hülkenberg in that fight for the odd point. But Lambert won his last 3 rides of the regular series of races on Saturday in TAURON, and then was second in the final, so nearly won it as well with that dramatic move up the back straight. And in the end had to follow Manson home, but Lambert's going to win this opening race in Bydgoszczy. Lambert over Larty, scraps it on for third place, and Milik will just get there in front of Kai Hülkenberg. So a perfect start for Great Britain's Robert Lambert in the opening race. He knows he's well and truly in this series this year. Third a couple of years ago, injury hit last year, but Lambert is massively in play in this series, which now runs every Wednesday throughout the month of July over 5 rounds, and Lambert makes a perfect start to Heat 1 in Bydgoszczy, ahead of Timo Larty in second place and Václav Milik in third.
Heat 1 out of the way, and Robert Lambert on that inside gate. If there's going to be an advantage on this track, I guess that's the place you'd want to be to get your second round off to a good start. And the GB rider does that in style too, gets out there, and he's picked up the line pretty rapidly, I would say. I've had many laps around this track, and even though you got to make a good start in Speedway, this is one of those tracks where it's very difficult from the outside line lines. You got a really good setup. Thomas Golub showed many people how to get around this track and find form riding right up against the fence. But Robert Lambert gets himself in mid-track, and that's probably the right place to be. And I'm sure a lot of the onlookers, the other riders, will be looking at that to see where they need to be on the track. But a good start for him coming out of gate 1 in the first race to win it.
Yeah, perfect start for Robert Lambert as he checks that with the mechanics. That's the best start to the meeting he could possibly have had. Here we go with Heat 2. There is Nicky Pedersen riding it in blue. Twice a winner of a Grand Prix in Bydgoszczy. Also clinched his third world title at this venue, which has staged 14 Grand Prix back in the past. Was a real staple of the Grand Prix circuit. There were some spectacular moments in it. And Thomas Golub, of course, very much the king of Bydgoszczy, won no fewer than 7, including 4 on the bounce. He was the man who knew his way around, although Sam, I think you taught him some of the fast lines around Bydgoszczy because you rode for this club as well. Yeah, well, it was 1981 I came here for the first time when Peter Collins put together a tour to visit Poland when they opened up the doors for the foreign riders. And Bydgoszczy was a club I settled on and came here in 1982, and I think I rode 82, 83, and 84. And it was a track that you got to ride right up against the fence to sometimes that's the only way around. There is Kasper Verena riding in the white helmet colour. Unfortunate on Saturday, an exclusion that many people felt was somewhat controversial at best. Michael Jensen on the inside, and off the outside, Emil Sajfudinov, the wild card who started his Polish career with Bydgoszczy and rode for them through to 2012. Very popular still indeed on this circuit. Heat number 2 gets underway. Nicky Pedersen in blue gets the best start in front of Michael Jensen. And Sajfudinov, in fact, has been squeezed out on the first turn. He's been really consistent so far in the extra league, and now he's trying to wind up the outside to get past Jensen and trying to move past Verena, although he gets rather caught in between, tries to turn back, and Pedersen still has the advantage. Pedersen over Verena. It's Sajfudinov in third place. Jensen out the back with Nicky Pedersen trying to match Robert Lambert, and so far making a good job in Heat 2. Yeah, Pedersen's out in front. Easy pickets for him right there, and Sajfudinov's really working Verena pretty hard. And Verena, I think, is doing a good line. He's just moving off line right there. It makes the rider feel like he can get up underneath it, but the way this apex is right coming off the corner just shuts the rider down quite easily. Well, Nicky Pedersen is controlling heat number 2, leading by some distance. The scrap is on for second with Saipudinov trying to make a passing move on. Varina trying to get a fast one. He's chopped off there. Yeah, there you go. Chopped off on turn 2. And now we'll go back to the outside in yellow. Emil Saipudinov as Pedersen comes around to win it. But the battle of the second place made it round the outside. And Emil gets second over Varina with Jepsen Jensen out the back. So that was well worked out there by Emil Saipudinov. Nicky Pedersen winning it by a distance to add 3 points to his series tally and start his night off in the best possible way. But the crowd enjoyed the action too, from Emil Saipudinov coming through into second place after a tight battle with Kasper Varina. So Pedersen wins heat 2, Saipudinov in second place and Varina in third.
Yeah, stylish move from the Russian Emil Saipudinov. You know, I'd just take his time. It made a decent start from the outside, but equally on the inside, Nicky Pedersen just demanded the lead, going through that first turn, and then coming off turn 2, easy pickets for him. But you can just see the battle right now. Emil's going to be working that inside, but Varina's really got that covered. But the nature of this track is if you hold the inside line, just coming off the corner, it kind of throws you off a little bit and unsettles where you're supposed to be. So you got to kind of forget about the white line and ride the track. And then Emil decided it's time to go to the outside in the one last ditch. Right here, you can just see his nose gets cut off straight away. And then he decides to go to the outside, made a great move coming off the last corner and ran to the finish line and squeezed that second place out of it.
Very reminiscent of the last time the World Cup was here, and the last big meeting really here in 2014 when Niels Christian Iversen won it for Denmark off the last bend of the final when he passed Janis Kawodje, and that was a very similar move there to the one that was pulled by Emil Saipudinov. Heat number 3 there is Mikkel Mikkelsen, the defending Speedway Euro champion. Alongside him is Leon Madsen, who is the previous winner of the series. Grigory Laguta in white there, who went so close last year, losing out in a run-off to Mikkelsen, so a strong lineup. Andrei Kudryashov goes in yellow off the outside. The newly crowned Latvian champion won it at Daugavpils on Sunday in a run-off with Oleg Mikhailov, so congratulations to Andrei Kudryashov. But a tough lineup here, Sam. Mikkelsen, Madsen, Laguta and Kudryashov.
Yeah, you couldn't get it any tougher, I wouldn't think. It's already heat 3 and you got the big boys out on the track. They're all looking for some big points and they're all capable of it, so it's going to be an interesting first corner.
Very interesting indeed on the way. Mikkel Mikkelsen picked up 10 points in the opening round. Madsen scored 12, was a bit up and down, won the final and won it well in the end, but he had a last place 2 along the way, very unusually for him, so he's already playing catch up on Pedersen and Lambert, who have won their opening ride already here tonight. Mikkelsen goes off the inside, Madsen goes in blue, Laguta in white and Kudryashov in yellow. The start marshal will be in communication with the referee after Kuzmirez edging from Madsen, Laguta into the tapes, so I think Laguta will be excluded, but there could be all manner of warnings going on there as well. We'll wait and see what the referee makes of it, but a messy start. Artur Kuzmirez, the referee, was involved in a bit of controversy at the weekend in the Roslav Gora fixture, which ended up in a draw in heat 15 in that one, but here's heat 3 here, and you will see the tapes are first touched by Kudryashov on the outside.
Yeah, Kudryashov straight into him. I didn't see that from the first thing, but in that view right there, definitely.
Madsen does move.
Yep.
Madsen moves slightly, and then Kudryashov gets him just before Laguta. So there you go. Yeah, I mentioned there was a bit of controversy in the Extra Liga on Sunday when a last heat decider at Roslav and Maciej Janowski was felt by many to have delayed the start, and the referee allowed it to run, and in the end he got a point which confirmed the draw, and that was Artur Kuzmirez, the referee, involved in that, in charge tonight, but that one in the end going with that call that Kudryashov was the first one into the tapes. Frustration for him, and we'll see a reserve which is likely to be Kamil Brzozowski coming out to replace him. But we saw that on the weekend, Sam, with Milik in the first ride. It's not ideal, and it took Milik a long time to get into the meeting at the weekend.
Yeah, you don't want to make any mistakes, and you know when the rider's all geared up and he's trying to do his best, you know, you rev up and you get up there, and you know sometimes you don't know really what the referees are like, if they're quick. So you know he's penalized himself obviously for just being a little bit anxious. And it's going to cost him. We'll have to see how he gets on in his second heat out on the track.
Well, that race in particular, there was quite a bit of toing and froing, shall we say, with the start marshal. Who, as I mentioned, in Poland, the start marshal is always in communication with the referee, and quite often the instructions are coming straight from the referee as to who he wants moved up into lining the tapes, but it seemed to take quite a while on that occasion. Whether that unsettled people, I don't know, but whatever the case, there will be a change in yellow, and it is Kamil Brzozowski who is the replacement, the reserve, who is a Bydgoszcz rider. Peterborough fans may remember Kamil Brzozowski, although probably not very much. He rode for them 10 years ago, 3 meetings, no points. So it wasn't a memorable spell at the East of England Arena, but he did ride in British Speedway for 3 meetings. He will ride in yellow in this strong lineup of Nicholson, Madsen and Laguta, so a tough one for the reserve here.
Yeah, mentioning Peterborough, this is kind of very similar shape at Peterborough. At Peterborough, you really never get your wheels in line to get a big straightaway out of it, and Bydgoszcz is very similar to that, so maybe being a home rider might give him a little bit of an advantage. I know he didn't score any points, as you already mentioned, at Peterborough, but he's got a chance here to show these guys. Off of gate 4, get up something pretty special and know how to get around the track.
Very much so, and Brzozowski will have the outside gate. That is the old main grandstand to your left there, and so the new one has just been opened on the far side of the back straight. You see the red and white seating there, and they have big plans also to build more grandstand facilities on the first and second turns. So it's good to see Bydgoszcz trying to get themselves back to where they were. Obviously they've been rather overshadowed by TAURON up the road in recent years, but now they're in the same league and looking to they can't match the stadium that TAURON have, of course, by any means, but what they do have here, as far as previous Grand Prix go by and the World Cup in 14, they have a very good racetrack here, and it'd be good to see it back on the big stage.
Yeah, it's really nice that they've invested so much money into this stadium. I mean, its capacity, I think, is listed as 20K, and TAURON's only listed at 15K, but it seems like it can hold a lot more than that.
Around about 3,000 in for this meeting, obviously with the distancing requirements very much in play. Restart of heat 3, and there is Kamil Brzozowski off the outside gate. But Grigory Laguta in white, Leon Madsen in blue, and they are having a slight debate.
Yeah, they're trying to claim their different ground on the track. It looks like so good. Leon Madsen's moving that thing out of the way.
With the pole, which is there in between, and you've got Mikkel Mikkelsen in red. So it looks like we're finally into line for the rerun of heat 3. Good start this time and away. Mikkelsen in red gets it over Leon Madsen, who tries to shove Laguta wide. That might give a chance for Brzozowski to come through, but he's passed, and Laguta gets a real turn of speed there off bend 2. That's impressive from the Russian to get round the outside of Mikkel Mikkelsen, and Leon Madsen will have to chase in third place. Now, going to have a race on between these 3 big hitters in the Speedway Euro Championship. Laguta, who was fairly quiet by his standards on Saturday, and now Madsen trying to go inside Mikkelsen. He's done so. Mikkelsen is back. Good racing in heat 3.
Yeah, Mikkelsen's throwing it back in the inside right there. But here comes Madsen up the inside again. The nature of this track is they're going to be switching lines around because it just pulls you offline. You have to go real deep, just like Mikkelsen is. Laguta out in front getting a good ride.
But it's taken Leon Madsen some time to clear Mikkel Mikkelsen. He's finally done so after repassing him. Whether he's got time to reel back in ground on Grigory Laguta, I would rather doubt. Laguta has the advantage over Madsen, with Mikkelsen third and Brzozowski finding the pace rather hot out the back. No surprise there, but they come round turn 3 and 4 for the final time, and Laguta, who went so close to last year's title, gets a race win in his first ride of round 2. Laguta wins it ahead of Leon Madsen, with Mikkel Mikkelsen in third place. And a good scrap there for second place. Initially it looked like Mikkelsen was battling with Laguta for the victory, but in the end he got passed by Madsen. Took Madsen a couple of goes to seal the deal. He did so and picked up 2 points from it. So Laguta winning heat 3, Madsen second, and Mikkelsen in third place.
Looks like a lot more to come from the racetrack. All the riders are looking for their first ride. This is the heat number 3 on that inside. Mikkelsen goes straight to the middle of the track and on the very outside in the white. Laguta does a good job to wind that thing up on the outside, and he really gets the grip to the racetrack. The right line is mid-track, and the battle was there for second place. Obviously, Leon Madsen was never really get settled down. Took him a couple laps to figure it out, but he, as you said, he ran out of time there. Once he did get past Mikkelsen, they had their own battle there, but everybody would have come off with a little bit of knowledge of how this track's going to handle for them as they continue on with their other races.
There is Grigory Laguta back in the pits, so certainly a win, even at this early stage of the series, very much required after only scoring 7 in the opening round. And you've seen the pace being set by Nicky Pedersen and Robert Lambert, who have both won their opening ride tonight, moved on to 17 overall. There is Christoph Kasperzak in white. He wouldn't have been too happy with that practice start. He is also a former Grand Prix winner at Bydgoszczy. In fact, the last Grand Prix that was staged here was won by Krzysztof Kasperzak. That was his first of 3 that year, and he rides in white. There is Bartosz Smektara, who rides in red. David Balego goes in blue. He's also a home rider this season, made the move from Poznan over the winter. In fact, it was Bydgoszczy who knocked out Poznan in an extraordinary second division playoff final last year for promotion, when they overturned an enormous margin to get past them, and they got promoted. And then Balego, who rode for Poznan in that, has now switched over to Bydgoszczy for this season. So he goes in blue, Kasperzak in white, and Peter Young, who picked up only 1 point on Saturday, but had a better meeting in the North-South clash at Gdansk on Monday, picked up 9 in that one. He goes off the outside in yellow. So what are we going to see, Sam, from the enigmatic Krzysztof Kasperzak tonight?
Yeah, well, if he's one of the guys that can make the start, and he'll know how to get around this track. Already saying that he's won a Grand Prix around here. Super fast if he's on form.
Here we go with heat number 4 then. They go away, and Smektara from the inside has it over Balego. Kasperzak goes really wide into the first bend, sails out wide, and Young come through into third or even into second. Back round him goes Balego. Very tight into bend 3, and now Kasperzak pins the inside to go back inside Young. It's Smektara out in front of Balego, and Young is trying to hit back now on Kasperzak, who took some rather unusual lines, it has to be said, on the first lap or so. Made it back through into third place, but race one out front here. Smektara battles with Balego.
Yeah, I think Smektara's got quick bikes right now, and he's riding a really good line, but he'll be pressured all the way down to the very last corner, I'm sure, with Balego right there.
Balego having a real go in second place. Look for the inside now, trying to build up some speed once again. Might make a big move down the inside into bench 3 and 4. He makes the move inside Smektara. Fantastic move there by Balego. Lifso coming off the bend as Smektara may try and hit back on the final lap. Super ride by Balego, but then he's a bit wide off turns 1 and 2. Smektara will try and hit back on the last lap, but Balego's got plenty of pace. Super ride by the Frenchman. Comes around turns 3 and 4 and will take the checkered flag. Super ride, David Balego in heat number 4 over Bartosz Smektara ahead of Krzysztof Kasperzak and Peter Young. And Balego, who is desperately keen to establish himself in this series, unlucky last year with injuries. Well, that is a fine move there against Smektara, who made the final on Saturday and made the best gate there from the inside. But Balego made a super move there to go through, and he wins heat 4 ahead of Smektara with Kasperzak in third place.
Yeah, Smektara thinking that inside gate was going to be the golden jewel of this one. Coming into this event, already highlighting 11 points underneath him, but David Balego had another story there. Really disappointing for him. Kasperzak didn't even really get into the race, really. Went up right up to the dirt. Now, I think in normal times when there's a little bit of cushion out there, that little bit of dirt up against the wall would be, look how close these guys are riding. It would have been perfect for Kasperzak to get there, but he couldn't gain the speed he probably needed. But Balego definitely worked the track out. He knew that he had to go really high to get some speed, and as he had more speed than Smektara, it just passed him, almost like he was standing still, really. And then Smektara had no speed or no answer to that one there, but a nice job from Balego.
That's a great move. Balego still very popular for his time in the UK, most recently in the Premiership with Swindon and a spell with Ipswich last year too, but very much a worthy winner there of heat number 4. The Frenchman becomes our 4th winner of the meeting in Bydgoszczy, and a good move too to get the better of Bartosz Smektara and take a point off. So we have the first 4 heats completed in Bydgoszczy, and our winners so far: Nicky Pedersen, Gregory Deguta, Robert Lambert and David Balego.
Le AOP, born in Switzerland in 1115.
You never know when your time is going to come to rise above the rest, to seize the opportunity, to be crowned a champion.
Every once in a while, you get one of those final tables that you say, wow. Tonight is one of those. A ty czemu wylądowałeś na ławce? Co przez ambicje? Za wysoko podniosłem swoją poprzeczkę.
Fortuna Zakłady Bukmacherskie. Z ambicją sponsorujemy polskie kluby.
Robić swoje to dla mnie rozmawiać z dziećmi o wszystkim. Także o pieniądzach. Jak to robię? Tak jakoś samo przychodzi.
Łatwiej robić swoje, gdy aplikacja Moje ING podpowiada, jak ogarniać finanse twoje i dziecka.
Sport zaczyna się tu i teraz. Województwo kujawsko-pomorskie.
Wiedziałem, że wygrają!
Ja wiedziałem, jest w formie.
Wiedziałem, że nie odpuszczą.
Wiedziałam, że go pokona.
Wiedziałem, że będą 3 punkty! Brawo!
Nie działa.
Wiedziałem!
Wiedziałem, że awansują.
Z naszym wsparciem musieli wygrać.
Dobrze wiesz, warto wspierać.
The Korea AOP, born in Switzerland in 1115.
Round 2 of the Speedway Euro Championship comes from Bydgoszczy, the second of 5 rounds. They now all take place on Wednesdays for the remainder of the month. Gnieźno is next Wednesday, Rybnik in a fortnight's time, and back at TAURON for the decider on the 29th of July. They've all had one race so far tonight. Nicky Pedersen, Gregory Laguta, David Bellego and Robert Lambert, the winners of their opening rides. And in the series so far, as we mentioned, a second of 5 rounds. Nicky Pedersen and Robert Lambert both on 17 points overall. Leon Manton on 14, Bartosz Schmecktauer on 13. They are the progressive scores at this stage. Heat 5 about to get underway with 2 riders who failed to score in their first rides and 2 who won their first rides. There is Robert Lambert, who goes in blue, a winner first time out. There is Michael Jepsen Jensen, who had an awkward crash at the end of the TAURON meeting, but thankfully was okay and able to ride in Poland the following day. Young, who also failed to score first time out, and Laguta, who goes in yellow, he won his first ride. So 2 winners, Lambert and Laguta. Bit of track prep has been going on, and Sam, you reckon this could build up some material as the meeting goes on?
Yeah, they do. They obviously they did put some water down when they were grading the racetrack before this heat number 5, so it will be a little bit slippery for the first lap or so. But you can just see the material is starting to build up kind of mid-track and towards the fence. And naturally, the shape of the track, you get a lot more speed if you hang out by the fence. The radius of the track is pretty natural for a rider. If you tend to go to that inside, you just kind of get all boxed up, as we've seen. So yeah, it could come good now. But Robert's going to be in the first race of every round on his draw. So this is it now. He's coming out of gate 2, and his next one will be out of gate 3.
Yeah, needs to bank the points at this stage. He goes in heat 9 himself, gate 3 against Marina, and Kasperzak inside him and Madsen outside him, so that's not going to be easy. And he's also off the outside in heat 13 against Nicky Pedersen, so there are some interesting races to come, but I think you'll feel fairly confident in this one off gate number 2, which has provided 2 heat wins so far. Obviously, we have seen some good moves. Belego's win in heat 4 was not from the gate, but he was in blue in that race. Young off the inside, Lambert off gate 2, Jepsen Jensen gate 3, and Laguta off the outside. Heat 5 gets underway, and it's Lambert in front of Young into the bend. He moves out to mid-track and a bit wider. Laguta with a clever switch back there on the inside, can't quite make it through. Close. Then picks up drive, looks over his shoulder as Jepsen Jensen tries to go round him into 3 and 4. Young is also in play, and as Lambert checks off and clear, Laguta is fending off the double threat there of Jepsen Jensen and Young really forces Jepsen Jensen wide. Jepsen Jensen turns back, but Robert Lambert is out in front by a mile here.
Oh man, he's got the setup working for him, and there's no doubt about that one right there. Laguta just got boxed up in the first corner, went for the big move on the outside, which I think you kind of got to do, and get your wheels in line to go down that back straightaway the first lap. And he's got some speed now, does Laguta, but it looks like Lambert's got this one sewn up.
It's so impressive from Lambert, who is right back to form this year. Got his bikes working how he wants them. He's scoring big points for Rybnik in a struggling side. Had a tough year last year with the injuries, particularly mid-season, but he's certainly stamped the authority on the Speedway Euro Championship. Reminder, the winner of the series gets a Grand Prix place next year, and Lambert makes that 2 rides and 2 wins in Bydgoszczy. Perfect start to the meeting for him as he gets the better of Grigory Laguta, and great to see the flags flying for Robert Lambert, the winner of Heat 5, as he was the winner of Heat 1. It's 6 points on his account straight away in Bydgoszczy from his first 2 rides. Lambert over Laguta, Jepsen Jensen in 3rd place.
Yeah, David, you mentioned that Lambert had a rough draw at TAURON, but I think this one might bite him a little bit later, but he made good use of the riders in this race coming out of gate 2, but the nice cutback there from Laguta, and getting a little bit close to Jesper Jensen right there coming down that back straightaway. But that's the place you got to be. Along the back straightaway fence is where you'll end up being, getting the most speed that you can generate. But you can see that's a nice photograph right there. The pictures of this one right there with Laguta in the yellow, putting his front wheel over the curb there and going straight for the dirt line, and that's exactly where Jesper Jensen was. And they just showed him that he was there. Luckily, they didn't clash too hard and come down there. It could have easily have happened. You just got to have your eyes everywhere on this racetrack, because there's some big lines right there, and you won't expect the riders to come from different places like that every time. But Laguta knows how to get on this track, and he left them just enough room right there. But nice to see Robert Lander continuing his winning times, 2 wins in a row.
Very much so. 6 points out of 6, and Laguta with that 2nd place moves on to 5. But it's a great start to the meeting for Robert Lambert. Clearly got the setup right, and clearly got the fast lines around Bydgoszczy, a circuit which does make lines. And if you ever fancy having a look back on YouTube, look back on old meetings in Bydgoszczy, look at how Thomas Golov did ride it. Some of the moves were quite extraordinary. There's also a great race involving Greg Hancock and Billy Hamill from years gone by as well, from around, I think, about 2001, that was also fairly spectacular. Some of the racing around this track over the years gone by has been brilliant. Heat 6 is next up, and Bellego rides in red with a win first time out. Nicholson in blue needing points, 1 so far. Lutty in white with 2, and Verina in yellow with 1. That's the lineup Heat 6, Sam.
Yeah. You know, sometimes when you're on the inside line like Bellego is right now, you tend to got to go into the corner and forget about riding the inside line straight up to that dirt. It leaves a big hole, but I think as him being a home rider around here now, he probably might be thinking that way.
So Heat 6 out the start line, referee puts the button down and away they go, and it's a good start there by Mikkel Mikkelsen in blue. He goes out wide off the bend, and turning back is Timo Lahti. Lahti battling with Mikkelsen, who gets back round him. Verina looks for the move down the inside. Bellego got squeezed out once again. Bellego will have to come from the back, and Mikkel Mikkelsen leads, but goes wide off bend 4, and Timo Lahti has neatly picked his pocket there. Lahti comes through on the inside, very wide indeed. Mikkel Mikkelsen generating more speed to turn back, and he shoots back through.
Perfect lines at Bydgoszczy. Just got to know where they're at. You can find the combination, and Mikkelsen did, but he's got Latte still hunting the lines as well, so no mistakes needed from him.
Definitely going to get some good racing here tonight with Mikkel Mikkelsen out in front, and now Verina looking to repeat the move that Mikkelsen made. He's trying to get the better of Timo Lahti. Mikkelsen race leads on to his final lap. The scrap is still on for second. Lahti has it over Verina for now, and Bellego off such a good first ride. Can't quite get into the action here. He's trying to make a late move on Verina on the final lap, but it looks like it should stay as things are, which is good news for the Dane here, Mikkel Mikkelsen, who won the last 2 rounds and the series last year, and he wins Heat 6 in Bydgoszczy over Timo Lahti, and Kasper Verina in 3rd place once again. Just a couple of points for Verina so far this evening. Mikkel Mikkelsen required that to keep pace with the leaders in the series, and he gets a good win there, repassing Timo Lahti in Heat 6. Mikkelsen over Lahti, Verina in 3rd place.
Exceptional lines there available for these guys, all 4 of them in this heat number 6. Now they got to that start line, they had to start working out exactly what they wanted to do. Mikkel Mikkelsen knows that he's got to get some points underneath his belt here, but he had to fight hard for them. Bellego, I kind of thought maybe he might be able to figure this one out quite quickly, but he hasn't done that. Look at that. Mikkelsen in the blue there just gets his wheels in line. And Latte puts in some good moves too. They were swapping places for a split second early on, but it's hard to master this racetrack, and what little bit of dirt's on the track needs to be building up a lot more on that outside to give these guys more of a chance to really pull in some big moves.
So Mikkel Mikkelsen having to fight hard. He does, but look how wide he goes there. Almost kissed the outside of the air fence. super move by Mikkelsen to get the better of Timo Lahti, and he gets a victory on his account. Next up is heat number 7, featuring Leon Madsen and Nicky Pedersen. There is Nicky Pedersen in line for heat 7 at Bydgoszczy. You've got Bartosz Smektawa inside him in blue, Leon Madsen there in red, and Kai Hülkenberg goes in yellow. So certainly the three on the inside gates will feel that they have every chance and are looking to make a big impact in the series. There is Hülkenberg, who we've seen have his moments. He's wearing his Bydgoszcz colours underneath his race jacket there, but certainly Nicky Pedersen, who won this series 4 years ago, Leon Madsen won it 2 years ago, and Smektawa, the under-21 world champion, a couple of years ago as well. They all looking for big points here in heat 7.
Interesting, good heat 7 lineup for sure. And the track is settling down a bit. I think the guys now won't be spoiled for choices. They'll all be trying to chase the big line, I believe.
I think they will have seen what Mikkelsen did there in the previous race. You can see you go right out wide off the second bend and cut yourselves back. Here we go with heat number 7. They fly away, and it's Madsen and Pedersen into the first bend together. They mark it's Smektawa, who tries to turn back, and as they're battling with each other, what's going to happen here is Madsen race leads from Pedersen. Almost coming through there is Kai Hülkenberg, who gets the better of Smektawa into bend 3 and 4, and Leon Madsen has it over Nicky Pedersen, and the scrap is on for third place. Smektawa trying to come back through on the inside of Kai Hülkenberg, and the speed there from Hülkenberg trying to threaten Pedersen. As he did so, he got forced out too wide, and now he goes back through on the inside of Smektawa.
Yeah, good battle there going on right there. See, Smektawa is going to come back to the inside. He's going to be in the driver's seat by the time they get back into this corner. Nicky Pedersen's going to have to settle for the second place because Leon Madsen's checked out on this one.
Yeah, Leon Madsen showing the race leading and the race winning form we've seen for a couple of years, but a furious battle still on for third place because Kai Hülkenberg has now gone back for the outside, try and build up some lines, and Smektawa blocks him into the bend, but Hülkenberg is still battling away on the outside. Didn't turn back, but he's still got the speed. Can he make it round the outside? Madsen leads, Pedersen second, neck and neck for third and fourth, so here comes the winner. It's Madsen to win it, it's Pedersen second, and it's Hülkenberg snatching third place from Smektawa, and that time the outside works. You can make it both ways here. He had to work hard for it, but Kai Hülkenberg pinches third place there from Bartosz Smektawa. A blow for the young man who finished in the top 5 last season, but Leon Madsen gets a much needed victory for him there as he tries to keep pace with Pedersen, and Lambert takes a point off Pedersen crucially, and Madsen over Pedersen. Hülkenberg in third place.
Nicky desperately trying to make that gate 3 work for him to get to that dirt first, but just on the inside of him there was Leon Madsen in the red helmet color. Gets to that top of that dirt off the back straightaway quicker than Nicky does. Here's another view. Nicky does make a decent start, but Madsen equally does. And then it's a matter of who gets to that dirt line first, and they both chase it hard. And up the inside there, you can just see the other two guys, Smektawa and Hülkenberg, trying to figure out their best way to get around this 348-meter racetrack. They're looking for the lines, the best lines, and they're battling for it right there. There's Smektawa getting swallowed up again, and probably for the last time. There's not much more time after that one because he goes across the finish line in third place.
Certainly the battle between Smektawa and Hülkenberg got himself on the outside and made it round off then 4.
Yeah, it's all about just got to work this track, and if you lose the boys in front of you, you're going to lose the race.
The speed of that battle was actually seeing them catch up to Nicky Pedersen towards the end, but Pedersen still getting 2 points for second place, which means that Robert Lambert has the outright series lead at this stage of the Speedway Euro Championship because he has 20 points overall. Nicky Pedersen on 19 overall, round 2 out of 5. Heat 8 is next up. There is Krzysztof Kasperzak in yellow with a point to his name so far. Also in this race, Andrei Kudryashov in white, who took the tapes first time out and was excluded. Václav Milik in red with 1, and Emil Sajfudinov goes in blue. 2 points so far. He is the track record holder at Bydgoszczy. Of course, used to ride for them, now very firmly with Lezno, been there for the last 6 years. But he is the track record holder, Emil Sajfudinov. 7 Grand Prix wins. World number 3 a couple of times, away they go, and he tries to make it there over Václav Milik, and Milik all out of safe on turn 1, and Sajfudinov gets around him and gets the advantage. Kasperzak trying to turn back, very tight off bend 2, as Milik still holds the second place for now. Kasperzak on the inside, Kudryashov on the outside, Sajfudinov is well out in front. Milik was in all kinds of trouble on the first couple of pairs, managed to control it. Doesn't appear to have too much speed though, as Kudrashov tries the outside run. Now we have to turn back on Kasprzak. It's still Milik second. Big dive bomb there, but Milik still second.
Yeah, Milik has just got to hold on to that one. He's got to use the whole track and figure it out. The bike's rear is just a little bit on him. He's got to hold it down low, but Kudrashov is right there as well in the white. Just Kasprzak's trying to get in the mix as well.
Well, the lead is being held by Emil Saifedinov by some distance, but the scrap is on for second and third. Václav Milik doesn't appear to have very much pace, but so far he's put the bike in the right places to block the run of Kudrashov and indeed Kasprzak, and Milik may well get 2 points out of it as a result. So they come up the third and fourth bend for the final time, and Emil, a double Euro champion back in the day, he gets the victory back on for third, and it's just held by Kudrashov in third place behind Václav Milik, holding Christoph Kasprzak at bay. But very popular, as I mentioned, in Bydgoszczy for his earlier time with the club when they were in the top flight. Emil Saifedinov, the winner of heat number 8, and moving on to 5 points in this wildcard appearance in the second round of the Speedway Euro Championship. Emil winning heat 8 from Milik in second place and Kudrashov third.
Yeah, a bit of a shocker for Kasprzak. He's not even in this one. Coming from that outside gate right there, obviously, Emil Saifedinov, the Russian, makes a brilliant start, gets out in front right there. Milik and Kasprzak just come close right there. The nature of the way the track bottles up coming out of gate 2, these guys clash. And I would say that Kasprzak had to take avoiding actions not to go over the curb line. It's a high curb right there. Right there is Milik making a bit of a mistake. And as he goes a little bit wide, leaves the door open, but he cuts back as soon as he does. You can just see right there, Kasprzak had to take avoiding actions, put his front wheel over the white curb, but just kind of settling back down, and the race continued from there. And Andrei Kudrashov was really trying to put something in on Milik, but Milik had the answer for that one and held on to that second place.
Yeah, Milik gets a couple of points there to move on to 3 for the evening, but all about Emil Saifedinov out in front, moving on to 5 points tonight, so very much up amongst the early meeting leaders, and very much enjoyed that result as well. So back in the pits there, Emil Saifedinov has been really consistent with Lezno so far this year. He's third in the Extraliga averages, picked up 11 in his last meeting as well. So here's how things stand in the second round of the Speedway Euro Championship. After 8 races, they've all had 2 rides. Robert Lambert leads the pile on 6 points, 2 rides, 2 wins. Nicky Pedersen on 5, Emil Saifedinov on 5, Grigori Laguta 5, and Leon Madsen also on 5, Mikkel Mikkelsen and Timo Lahti both on 4. Top 2 go straight through to the final. The next 4 go through to the race-off. So good action here so far in Bydgoszczy. Heat 9 coming next.
Świeżak jak się rwie do gry.
Z godziny się już tak rozgrzewa.
Może mu ktoś powie, że już nie mam zmian.
Fortuna Zakłady Bukmacherskie. Niezmiennie sponsorujemy polskie kluby.
Nowa tytanowa farba Dulux EasyCare Plus. Odporna na plamy i przetarcia.
Czas na żużlowe emocje. Wspieramy czarny sport. Stawiamy na żużel. Winner oficjalnym bookmacherem cyklu Speedway Euro Championship.
soboty produkty do higieny jamy ustnej 3 dowolne w cenie 2, a mleko Nestle Nan OptiPro 28,99 za opakowanie przy zakupie 2. Ale tydzień, ale ceny biedronkowe.
Cibo Barista w tradycyjnych bębnach powoli wypalamy każde ziarno. Teraz w wersji mielonej, idealnej do kawy filtrowanej, kawy w kawiarce, jak i w zaparzaczu. Odkryj różnicę między dobrą a doskonałą kawą. Spróbuj nowej Cibo Barista w wersji mielonej, a także w wersji ziarnistej. Więcej czasu, więcej smaku.
Wiedziałem, że wygrają!
Ja wiedziałem, jest w formie.
Wiedziałem, że nie odpuszczą.
Wiedziałam, że go pokona.
Wiedziałem, że będą psychowcy!
Wiedziałam.
Wiedziałem! Wiedziałem!
Wiedziałem, że awansują.
Z naszym wsparciem musieli wygrać.
Dobrze wiesz, warto wspierać.
Sponsorem programu jest TAURON, sprzedawca prądu i gazu.
Round 2 of the Speedway Euro Championship in Bydgoszczy. Some good racing so far, and Great Britain's Robert Lambert leads the Speedway Euro Championship by a point at this stage. As I say, we have 3 rounds to come after tonight, but Lambert on 20 points in the series, unbeaten so far tonight, leaves him a point clear of Nicky Pedersen and 3 points clear of Leon Madsen. They are the 3 who lead the way, but here's Emil.
Nice to be back. Of course, I'm really happy, and especially, it's like coming to Bydgoszczy track, and because it's my home in Bydgoszczy, so I'm really happy, to see all crew, all people in stadium, and especially, this new construction, new tribune, is looking so good, and for sure, Polonia and Bydgoszczy have some future, and hopefully they're going good. How are you doing today? 5 points in 2 rounds. Is it a good result? Of course, I try to just score some important points, and we'll see. I feel good speed, and we just try to make some little bit different setups, and we'll see. Maybe I can be a little bit faster than before. So. Yeah, we'll see. You are watching all other races. My question is, who will be your biggest rival today? I don't know. It's all of you know. It's hard riders and really strong. So all hits will be tough, and for sure I will be ready for that. And I want to be concentrated myself, and we'll see. Thank you, Emil. Good luck. Thank you.
Series champion in 2014 and 2015, racing as a wild card tonight, Emil Saifedinov, whose last win in a Speedway Euro Championship round came at Kumla in 2015 when he went through the car with a full 18-point maximum, and one of only 3 riders to do that in series history. Can he win tonight as a wild card? We will see. Heat 9 though is next up, and there's the man who is unbeaten so far, Robert Lambert in white, Christoph Kasperzak goes in blue, it's Leon Madsen in yellow, and it's Kasper Barina in red. So Lambert in white, Madsen in yellow, 2 of the definite series contenders clash in heat number 9. Could be interesting.
Yeah, it will be interesting, but to answer that question you asked, could Saifedinov do the number around this track tonight? I think this is a track where you really got to be able to know how to get around and ride the big lines, be able to use the track craft, and he's got lots of experience. These 4 guys coming onto this heat number 9, Kasperzak is having a shocker of a day so far, only 1 point. He's definitely one of the guys that knows how to get around this track. He's got the experience. And then, it's unfortunate. But Robert Lambert sitting in that gate number 3. They just graded the racetrack. A little bit of water's been put on it, but he seems to have the setup for that. They just wish him well to come out of that one. But Leon Madsen will be really hungry, sitting on 5 points on that outside gate.
Leon Madsen, the start marshal and the referee in consultation. Gate 4 has not been particularly successful so far. What can Leon Madsen make off the outside gate? Robert Lambert just inside him has been making good start so far tonight. Here we go with heat number 9 and away, and it's in a good one by Verena off the inside, but Lambert has outgated Manson. Manson turns back though off bend 2 and leaves Lambert at the back. This could be interesting now then, as Verena race leads. Manson trying to go around him on turns 3 and 4. Lambert's got some speed going to try and move round Christoph Kasperzak. It's still being held by Verena, although Manson now switches back on the inside. Powerful move there. Kasperzak back on Lambert. Frantic battling here. Lambert back around the outside for 3rd place, but Leon Manson and Kasper Verena battling hard. Manson with the lead. It's Verena 2nd and Lambert still on the outside in 3rd place.
Yeah, difficult time for Lambert, but it was all about real skill right there from Leon Madsen. He didn't panic at all. Left the clutch out from gate 4 and just knitted his way right through, right into the front. Got plenty of speed over the other 3.
Well, Manson has cleared off, but you can see that Robert Lambert's trying to get 2nd place here up against Kasper Verena. Got to run down the inside here. Verena tries to chop across on him. Now can Lambert take him wide off bend 2? Race up the back straight for the final time. Lambert's got inside him. It's a good move and a good save by Robert Lambert. It's Manson to come round and take the victory, but if Lambert can see off Verena here, and I think he can, that's still 2 good points there for Lambert in heat 9. After a tough race, he's had to come from 4th to 2nd. He spent so long having to fend off Christoph Kasperzak. Leon Manson went out in front, got the better of Kasper Verena after a strong battle, but then Lambert retrieving 2nd place from the pole with Verena, and that's still 2 points for Lambert out of heat 9. But Leon Manson moves on to 8 for the meeting, the same as Lambert, as Manson wins heat 9 from Lambert with Verena 3rd.
Yeah, Kasper Verena did a good job to get himself into that first corner. He tried to get in there first, but I tell you what, Leon Madsen, check him out in the yellow. Nice cutback. Straight away, Lambert goes right up to the dirt thinking that's where you need to be, and that is the nature of this track. He got himself all boxed in there. Kasperzak still having a shocker in this heat number 9, doing him no favors at all. Verena then in the red is looking like he's going to try and hunt down Madsen, but Madsen's just got that thing hooked up and he's going fast. Then the battle begins. Lambert gets himself into the right position up against the dirt, gets some speed, starting to attack Verona, trying to get in there. And I tell you what a class rider he's had coming out of this one right here in this heat number 9. Got himself in the right place right there and took that 2nd place and earned it well.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy with 2 points from that race, given the situation he found himself in at one stage. But Leon Madsen, thumbs up, double thumbs up for him. He's on to 8 points, the same as Robert Lambert as far as tonight's meeting is concerned. We move on to heat 10, and there off the outside gate is Timo Lahti, who's impressed us so far after the tough start in TAURON on Saturday, but still recovered from that tough start to pick up 8 points. He's now got 4 from his first 2 tonight. Bartosz Schmektauer needs points here. He goes in white with just 2 so far, and also in this race Andrzej Kudryashov and Michael Jepsen-Jensen, who have both scored 1. There is MJJ, who had a nasty crash up on the top turn in his final ride on Saturday, but thankfully no ill effects. There is Schmektauer, who goes in white. Have you got any feel, Sam, for where you want to be on this track at this stage?
Well, you know, it's just, you know, if there's a lot of grip on this track, which there isn't tend to be at the moment, this is just a matter of picking the right lines. Not really. If you're on the inside, you're going to get boxed in. If you're on the outside, you're going to get cut off. You watch these guys picking their lines right at the apex, up against the fence in turns 1 and 2. That's where the race begins.
Kudryashov, Jepsen-Jensen, Schmektauer and Lahti. Looked like a bit of a jump start there by Jepsen-Jensen. Red lights and red flags are out, and that one has been stopped by referee Artur Kuzmierz. Didn't look like a satisfactory start. We'll check the replay and see what warnings are given, but Michael Jepsen-Jensen, who is a rider who needs a good start and needs to hit the front in a race, because he's not been doing too much race winning so far this season, and he may have been a bit quick there.
Doesn't look like anybody's moving yet. There it goes. Right when the tapes went up, he moved, actually. You can almost argue that. Let's just see what happens. It's almost like he hit it spot on, isn't it?
Well, there is a, whether it's a rule or an agreement in Poland this year, but they've definitely moved to a situation, or what should happen, is that if the rider perfectly anticipates, then that's being allowed to go. But on that case, it wasn't.
Right.
So it will be all 4 back for the restart, but Michael Jepsen-Jensen's start was deemed too good there.
Nice to see these guys, though, getting themselves settling back down. Desperate points on the line here for some of these guys. Yeah, just up the clutch. So is he going to get a warning, or?
Would have thought that he will get a warning, because referees don't tend to call all 4 back without, and there you go. There is confirmation that the rider in blue Michael Jepsen-Jensen does have a warning
So
tonight.
now the referee can, if he sees him move around again or delays the start in any way, he can exclude him straight up.
And that was the controversy I was referring to on Maciej Janowski in a league match with this referee on Sunday, when he'd had a warning earlier in the meeting, and then there was a bit of a kerfuffle before heat 15, a last heat decider with Janowski not quite coming into line, and the referee, Artur Kazimierz, did take quite a bit of stick in the Polish press for that, especially when Janowski still got a point in that race for a meeting that ended up in a draw. So you wonder, I don't know if referees read the press when there are controversial decisions like we had at the weekend with Arena. Do referees look, or do they just go home, close the computer and go away? I don't know.
I think I've actually been to one of their end of the season parties one time, their association, and had to tell a couple of jokes or something, and it wasn't hard to pick the referees I wanted to pick on, I can tell you that.
Referees have parties. Wow, this is very interesting. I do remember you having a little bit of a debate with a referee after an under-21 event last year in Güstrow, after we saw numerous start line incidents. That was a referee called Piotr Lis, and we have him in Gniezno next week, by the way. So we'll see what happens there. But you weren't too impressed with that. Anyway. Heat number 10, Kudrashov restart, Kudrashov off the inside, Jepsen-Jensen with a warning gate 2, Smektala gate 3, and Lati off the outside. So just to confirm that, if you are new to the sport, if Jepsen-Jensen didn't touch the tapes there, which is automatically excluded, if he now moves again too early, in the referee's opinion, he will be excluded. They go away perfectly for Heat 10, no problems there at all, and a good starting wide from Bartosz Smektala, going wide on turns 1 and 2, picking up drive and speed. Kudrashov makes the inside in red, but Smektala makes it around the outside, and he has the advantage. Coming through is Timo Lati in yellow, trying to pass Kudrashov, who gets a good run off Ben Ford to maintain second place, and Lati drops back into third with Jepsen-Jensen at the back, but a good job there off gate number 3. Bartosz Smektala leads.
Yeah, you can just see the lines are big now. You got to go for it. That's where you have to be on this track. If you don't make a good start, you got to mix it up, and they sure did mix up in this one in the first lap or so.
We saw Smektala improve over the last few years, a real force, a real contender at under-21 level, winning it once and finishing second a couple of times, and then advanced to the Speedway Euro Championship last year and was straight on the pace and confirmed his top 5 place, and trying to do the same again this year as well, whilst moving up with Leszno into the main body of their team in the Extraliga. And Leszno such a strong force once again this season. Smektala comes round turns 3 and 4. This one's been very processional after the first lap or so, and Smektala wins comfortably Heat 10 over Kudrashov with Lati in third place. Good ride from Smektala, who moves on to 5 points from 3 rides, so repairing some damage done there by last place in his previous outing. Gets a win there in Heat 10 and puts himself back in contention for a top 6 here this evening in Bydgoszczy. Smektala then the winner of Heat number 10 with a good first lap there off gate 3. Second place Kudrashov, and third Timo Lati.
Yeah, it's nice to see that Smektala's really got this thing worked out a little bit better. Now, I know that the riders he's riding with haven't been scoring big points, but a win's a win. So it's heat number 10. Get all that start if you can. Get to the right part of the racetrack as quick as you possibly can, kid. And Bartosz did that on the inside there. Kudrashov tried to get in there, but, you just lose so much speed when you hold it tight. And just see the guy in the red right there. Just watch. He's going to put his front wheel close, get it down to the inside, and he's got to straighten the bike up a little bit right there, and that just wastes so much time. You got to get into there, go deeper, get the bike turned, and get the wheels in line as quick as you can. That's how you win races around this Bydgoszczy track.
Bartosz Smektala certainly showing how to win a race around this Bydgoszczy track, and the scrap was on for second place with Kudrashov getting it there in the scrap with Timo Lati. So good win there for Smektala. Madsen and Lambert lead the meeting so far. We're going to see Slipodinov and Laguta next up in race number 11. Heat 11 in Bydgoszczy, and Emil Slipodinov and Grigory Laguta go in red and blue, and Kai Hülkenberg and David Valego. Hülkenberg, by the way, has a warning as well, and ride it in white from a previous start line incident. Hülkenberg and Valego teammates with Bydgoszczy next year, both wearing their Bydgoszczy colours, but Emil, the wild card tonight with 5 points so far, and Laguta, who only picked up 7 in TAURON, but has 5 on the board tonight, so he'll be keen to get 3 more here in heat number 11.
Interesting race this one here, because Laguta will be hungry for those points, as you just mentioned. Slipodinov on the inside probably feels really confident, but at the same time Laguta's points count, so he doesn't want Slipodinov stealing any of those from him.
They're trying to keep pace with Leon Madsen and Robert Lambert, these riders who are on 5 points, trying to keep up with the guys who are up to 8. Here we go with heat number 11, and Saifudinov is outgated. Laguta from the inside, turning back, is looking back in white, but a neat move there by Laguta to go through in blue, and Laguta leads from Saifudinov, who will try and take the inside now around turns 3 and 4, and they're going to really race hard at the end of the opening lap. It's Laguta in front in blue. He looks over his shoulder, he sees Saifudinov just behind him, who's trying to work the outside now. The Russian trying to pick up plenty of pace. He's hooking back in third, and Belago at the back trying to turn back, but so far Laguta out in front.
Yeah, I think I just seen Laguta give him a little bit of a wave.
Like it, yeah.
Yeah, he did. So maybe there's some kind of understanding between these two guys. Like I said, Laguta needs the points, doesn't he? He's only sitting on 12 points coming to this heat 11. And Saifudinov being on that inside, I don't think he's really pushing as hard as he really could be. So it could be a little bit of friendmanship right there going to these guys.
Well, it's compatriots, of course, first and second, and we'll see what Emil does on the final lap. He's certainly going winding up on turns 1 and 2, looking to build up some speed. Laguta is holding it, but Emil's going to go round him into turns 3 and 4. It was almost like he was waiting for that moment. Super ride by Emil Saifudinov to beat Grigory Laguta in heat number 11. That was a stunning move around the outside. We were waiting and waiting to see what might happen, and suddenly he threw it out in the dirt on turn 2 and just went straight round him. Stunning stuff by Emil Saifudinov, getting it, and the crowd love it as well, getting it over Grigory Laguta. Fantastic ride by Emil Saifudinov to win heat number 11, move on to 8 points for the meeting. He wins it from Laguta with Belago in third place.
I say no more. I rest my case on that one right there. I think Saifudinov's riding with so much knowledge and class that he's not really fearing anybody. On that inside, gets into that first corner, throws the wheel up to the dirt there, but already squaring off the corner in the blue was Laguta. Laguta then gets his wheels in line, and he's riding mid-track. If Laguta really wanted to get away from Saifudinov, he would have been throwing it in really deep and trying to pull away there, and would have covered that outside line right there. But just see how Laguta's riding mid-track. Saifudinov's just on the inside of him, so a cat-and-mouse game going on right there, I don't know. But Laguta didn't even see this one coming, did he? Saifudinov went right out in the dirt. The boys in the third spot there were chasing it down. Belago gets it. I mean, those are the two home riders right on Bydgoszczy, as you've already mentioned. So those guys are battling for that third place. But here it goes. In the red helmet color, Emil Saifudinov made easy work of that last lap.
Certainly made it look easy. Emil Saifudinov going round the outside of Grigory Laguta. There's a wave after the race, and wonder what he's saying to him as well.
He's probably saying, sorry, I couldn't give you that point, really. I just couldn't do it.
Absolutely. Handshake afterwards, and everyone is okay. And Emil Saifudinov winning a super heat number 11 there. Moving on to 12 then, and here's where we see Nicky Pedersen and Mikkel Mikkelsen. There's Nicky in the yellow helmet colour. I mentioned a couple of Bydgoszczy Grand Prix wins for Nicky back earlier in his career, 2006 and 2009. He was triumphant in a Grand Prix here. Mikkel Mikkelsen goes in white, Václav Minich goes in blue, and Peter Young goes in red. So Pedersen has seen Lambert drop a point in the previous race. So as far as the series overall is concerned, if Nicky Pedersen can win this heat number 12, he'll go level with Lambert in the overall standings.
Yeah, these two guys won't be looking for friendship on the racetrack. They'll be battling it for sure.
So heat number 12 is about to get underway, and heat number 12 gets underway, and Mikkelsen has outgated Pedersen. Young is trying to get into the equation too. Pedersen will try and turn back in yellow, move through into second place. Can he catch Mikkelsen, who's made a good move there, and Minich goes through on the inside of Young to take third place. Mikkelsen then leads from Pedersen. Now will Pedersen chase down his fellow countrymen? We saw a big battle in the previous race. Can Nicky Pedersen do likewise on Mikkel Mikkelsen? Mikkelsen leads from Pedersen. It's Young in third place.
Yeah, you can see that Pedersen's trying to find the big line, trying to find that extra grip if he can. Mikkelsen's holding that inside mid-track line, covering the ground if he can. But if Nicky goes back to the mid-track now, Mikkelsen then goes up to the high line and kisses that dirt, gets some speed off of it.
Mikkelsen so far controlling things, and Pedersen has to watch out because Peter Young is still in the equation. He's not scored so far, but Young has got himself wound up here for heat 12, looking to put pressure on Pedersen, and may have to be content here with second place. I don't think he'll get to Mikkel Mikkelsen from there. Mikkelsen leads from Pedersen, close for that second place, as Young still battling away ahead of Václav Minich, but Mikkelsen's going to get the job done here in heat 12 over Pedersen, and Mikkelsen wins it from Pedersen with Young in third place. And Mikkelsen gets the result he really required there after dropping a few points on Saturday. Needs to get back in the big points tonight and gets a victory there to move on to 7 for the meeting. His second win on the spin after a third place first time out. Nicky Pedersen drops a point there and finishes second, and Young gets his first point in the meeting in third.
So that gives us our GB rider a bit of a 1-point advantage after this heat number 12 right here, but I can tell you that Nicky Pedersen definitely wanted to win this one if he possibly could. Mikkelsen stirs it up from the word go, gets into that first corner, made the start off of gate 3 comfortably. Nicky Pedersen had to really kind of battle to hold his position there for a while. Milik threw it in there a little bit, but it was all about the Swede, Peter Lung, trying to get in there. Put a little bit of pressure on Pedersen, but Pedersen knows his craft around here. No problem. Couldn't get that bike to work any faster for him. So, Mikkel Mikkelsen, clearly the winner, heat number 12. Yeah, it's all good, though. Nicky Pedersen will be going back thinking he needs to see what he got to do if he's going to keep the pressure on the GB rider.
Absolutely, and Nicky Pedersen on to 7 in the meeting. We actually now got 3 riders on 8 points and 3 riders on 7 points. And they've got a bit of a gap because then just outside the top 6 on the night, that score is 5. So you'll see the scores now as they stand. And at the moment, looking very good for the top 6 on the night. Lambert, Saifedinov and Madsen all have 8 at this stage, with Mikkelsen, Pedersen and Laguta all on 7, and that leaves the likes of Spektawa trying to make up ground. Spektawa and Lahti both on 5, and they'll need a big ride to come. Heat 13 next up in Bydgoszcz. Just taking a look at the series standings after where are we? 1.5 meetings virtually gone out of 5. Robert Lambert leads the series on 22 points. Nicky Pedersen on 21. Leon Madsen on 20. Mikkel Mikkelsen on 17. They are the top 4 so far.
Leon Madsen is with me, the winner of Saturday's competition. But you weren't completely happy in TAURON because of points. Today it's much better so far.
Yeah, I was happy about winning the meeting, but obviously I wasn't happy to be 2 points behind in the overall classification. So we've tried to improve that today, and so far so good, like you say. And we still have some important heats coming up. It's not easy. It's not easy to pass on the track you're racing this year because they're very, very slick, and you got to make a very good start, and that's what we try to do. And in the same time have some good speed on your bikes, and it looks like we're getting there with the setup, and I'm okay from the start, and I'm also fast on the track.
It looks like this track suits you very well.
Maybe it looks like that, but you know, I prefer to have a little bit more grippy track than today. It's very, very slick, and it's not easy. It's not easy to pass. But yeah, it looks good, and we got some points at the moment, and we just try to keep pushing and score as many points as possible, so we can be up there in the top when we finish the night.
What about your last fight against Robert Lambert?
I don't even really remember it too well, but yeah, I didn't make the best start from gate 4. Gate 4 is not too easy, so I made a cut back and passed them on the straight, which was good. So, but you can only do that when your bikes are running good as well. So at the moment it looks good, but we still have some important heats coming up. We should try to see if we can go straight to the final today, so we can pick a good start position for the final.
Thank you, Leon.
Thank you very much.
Series champion 2 years ago, Leon Madsen trying to win it because he could do a double. He's also in the Grand Prix this year, but a reminder, the winner of this series does get a place guaranteed in next season's Grand Prix as well. Madsen very much in the hunt, only 2 points off the overall series lead at this stage. And talking about the outside start and having to work his way through, winning from gate 4, well, in heat 13, which is next up, Robert Lambert will be going off the outside in what's an interesting race because it also features Nicky Pedersen. Great to see the new grandstand over on the back straight, and there are supporters in that. Bydgoszcz building that new facility and looking to do more to the stadium, get bigger meetings back here. They've got the League Riders Championship coming up next Monday. They've also got the Polish Golden Helmet as well coming up. So big meetings coming back to the Bydgoszcz Stadium, and it's good to see because I mentioned 14 Grand Prix here back in the day. It was the Polish Grand Prix venue, it staged the European Grand Prix. It's also the only venue to have staged 2 Grand Prix in 1 year when it stepped in at short notice back in 2008. Of course, that situation may change this year depending on what the Grand Prix structure is. But this place is steeped in history at the top level, and Neil Manson talking about how slick it is, but I would say, Sam, it looks more consistent, the surface, than we saw in Torun on Saturday, which unusually for Torun developed those ruts, and that was pretty tricky for the boys at the weekend.
Yeah, it was more that the track was so slick, there wasn't a lot of material on it, so the riders were really desperate to get their bikes, you know, set up to hook up on the slick, and then that exaggerates when they find any holes at all. The bike will react to it. This track right here is a lot easier, well, probably a little bit better conditions than maybe Torun was, but it's still a tricky racetrack in nature. The riders got to really understand how to ride it. The experienced riders like Nicky Pedersen on the inside right there, he's a bit older now. He's 43, the oldest rider in this field, versus Smackdala, I think, is 21. We've mentioned that already in the first round. But you got to take some big chances here, and Robert Lambert is coming from that outside gate, and he'll be looking to figure out what he's got to do. But they've just prepared the track with a little bit of water. It might be a little bit difficult for him.
Yeah, interesting race here for Lambert. What will his tactics be from the outside, I wonder? Bellego inside him in white, Kudryashov in blue, Nicky Pedersen off the inside. You've got two real contenders for the series here, going in red and yellow. And what will Nicky do you think? If he makes a start, will he pin the inside, or will he let it run straight out and try and block Lambert's run?
You know, as a rider, when you let the clutch out, you kind of work that out as you're going to the first corner. He probably doesn't have a master plan yet. If he makes a decent start, he can control the race. If he doesn't, he's just going to have to go for gold. But I can tell you right now, Lambert's going to have to be the one really fishing, but the other two guys inside of him will be thinking the same.
Interesting, 8:13 on the way. Bit of a twitch there from Pedersen off the inside. Pedersen then over Bellego. I think the Reds have come on as very tight there with Bellego almost in the fence there. And I felt that Nicky Pedersen did twitch there off the inside gate, and the red flag has come out, and they're going to have to go again. So unsatisfactory start for this heat number 13.
There's only one rider in this race that was warned. That was David Bellego, wasn't it? And I think he was warned earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
we will see what. I felt it was Nicky. Here we go. Well, again,
the tapes went up from that view before anybody moved, but Nicky Pedersen's wheel did show signs first from that view. Let's see what happens if we get another shot.
But it's not just.
He did jump there. He did jump before it went. Yeah, still.
So if you're the racer there, you must be frustrated to get called back there, because you'll think that you've made the. Hey, you see, what's that wheel just in the right-hand corner of the screen?
Yeah, he moved before the tapes went.
He beats the referee, doesn't he?
Well, he actually let the clutch out once and pulled it back, so the bike was moving forward just as the tapes went up. So he did have a little bit of advantage, and I think Nicky knew it, so he was already backing off right then and there. But he's seen the red light or whatever it was. But he probably felt that he got away with that, but he didn't.
You'll notice the new entry to the track there through that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very, very much so. Here's the replay once again.
Yeah, see Nicky's wheel concentrate. It moved before the tapes went. Referee seen it clearly, pulls him back.
Yep, so it will be all four back for the restart of heat number 13, and lucky for Bellego, who had a bit of a trip into the scenery almost. So yeah, that's where they're making their way onto the circuit. Underneath that back straight grandstand, they used to make their way on the circuit from around the second bend area at Bydgoszczy, but things are changing and things are improving. And heat number 13, the restart is on the way. Big clash here. Nicky Pedersen and Robert Lambert. Pedersen going in red, Lambert going in yellow. There is Bellego, who goes in white, and Andrei Kudryashov goes in blue for this restart of heat number 13. Nicky Pedersen, the series champion in 2016, when he won dramatically in Rybnik, and we have a meeting in Rybnik this year as well in a couple of weeks' time. So happy memories for Nicky back there. Yep. There is Andrei Kudryashov. Bellego and Lambert completely lined up.
Yeah, well, Rybnik is the biggest track of the series, 357 meters, and it's got a really long history of. I think they've won like 8 championships in their time, and like 12, as I read, 12 second places. So the most winning medalist team of the Poland, and there's a heck of a lot of tracks here in Poland, so that's a good thing. That's a good shape too.
Very much so. Here we go with heat 13. Rybnik having a tough time this year, it must be said. Pedersen going in red, Kudryashov going in blue, Bellego in white, Lambert in yellow. Very much Lejno leading the way. Champions for the last 3 years, and off to a flying start this season, as well as others make mistakes and drop points in this most unusual of seasons, where nobody can get going until the middle of June, and we have all 5 rounds of the Speedway Euro Championship taking place in July. It would have been Voyens, it would have been Wuch, it would have been Gorichan and Horzhov, but a completely different series but 5 rounds all in the month of July. We beat TAURON once, second round in TAURON coming at the end of July, and Gniezno and Rybnik also on the agenda for tonight's meeting in Bydgoszczy. Heat 13, big one, Pedersen inside, Lambert outside, restart away they go. Kudryashov pulls out a blinding start from gate 2. Pedersen goes across the corner. Nicky Pedersen makes a big mistake there. Lambert comes through into second place. Pedersen third. Velligo at the back. Well, Kudryashov, we've seen this happen in the past. Kudryashov has come up with a big start when not surprised, not expected. But Robert Lambert has got the better of Nicky Pedersen, and Pedersen off the inside there made a real mess in the first lap.
Yeah, Kudryashov knew exactly what it was to do out of that start. He made it right there, and it spoiled Nicky Pedersen's drive. But Robert Lambert's made some good use out of that first corner to get himself into second place. I don't know if he's going to be able to run down Kudryashov yet or not, but he's on it. He wants it.
Well, I think once again, second place here is not a bad result at all for Robert Lambert, especially as he's in front of one of his big rivals, Nicky Pedersen. With all respect to Andrei Kudryashov, who's a very capable rider, he doesn't tend to put together 5 fast rides all night that will make him a serious champion contender. Oh. Lambert lifting off then too as he gets very close to the back wheel of Kudryashov there. But one thing you know about Kudryashov is he can throw in a fantastic ride against anyone, as he proves there by beating a fast finishing Robert Lambert and also a slowing Nicky Pedersen, who may have gone the wrong way on setup or whatever, but although it's a great win there for Kudryashov, take nothing away, that's also a big result for Lambert to beat Pedersen in Heat 13 and get 2 more points and lead the Dane on only 1 from that race. But fair play to Andrei Kudryashov there in blue. Fantastic start he made, and Lambert there out fumbling Pedersen on the first couple of turns. So Kudryashov over Lambert, Pedersen third.
Yeah, nice to see that Andrei Kudryashov actually can get out of the start and mix it up with these guys, and he spoiled Nicky Pedersen's drive from that inside. Second attempt in this heat number 13, opened up some big doors right there. You kind of said it spoiled it for Nicky when he went that first corner, but like I said, the nature of this place is to go straight to that dirt in that first corner and pick it up. So maybe, as you've already emphasized, the fact that the setup that Nicky's got isn't really working on this Bydgoszczy track. But Robert Lambert's bike sure is working good. Kudryashov actually started pulling away within the first lap and a half or so. And then all of a sudden Lambert's bike started working. It looked like right at the finish line, Lambert, when he just needed another lap, and he might have been able to get closer to him. He did rear a little bit once, did Lambert, getting that bike hooked up, and it just bent it a little bit too much, and the front wheel lifted, and he had to roll the throttle off, but still a good ride in this heat number 13.
And a good win for Andrei Kudryashov to move on to 6 points. And bearing in mind he touched the tapes in his first ride, he's done well to get 6 from his next 3. 8:14, Timo Lahti off the inside gate there in red. Peter Young goes in blue. It's Emil Saipodinov in white and Leon Manson in yellow. So a big clash here. The riders in white and yellow. Emil Saipodinov and Leon Manson both on 8 points so far. Timo Lahti on the inside there in red with 5. Peter Young has only scored 1 point so far, but yes, Saipodinov and Manson 8 points apiece so far. Gates 3 and 4.
Yeah, just look how Saipodinov in the yellow. He did come up to Leon Matson. Well, actually, it was Leon Matson in the yellow. Sorry about that. He was on. I think he came up to the very inside of gate 4 to get one over Saipodinov here in the white, and then changed his mind and went back over to the middle of the track. So he's still looking for the best place to come out of the start and see if he can get an advantage in that first corner.
Emil racing as a wild card tonight at his hometown venue, a former home track. Away they go with Heat 14.
Nice.
Made a great start in white. Emil Saipodinov last year's there too, in red off the inside. Turning back is Leon Manson in yellow, but he finds the way blocked there. And Manson goes to the back behind both Lahti and Young. So Saipodinov here has the advantage. And Leon Manson was talking in the interview about finding it difficult to pass. He's done so once tonight. He's coming through on the inside of Peter Young. Lahti is trying to hang on to that second place, which he's done so. And Young turns back and again leaves Manson at the back.
Yeah, that's just it, man. That's what you got to do. What a great start from Emil to get himself out in front from that gate number 3. And Leon Masson's just got to pick up the pieces, and he's finding it really difficult to do. Peter Lung's going to maybe double his score if he stays in that 3rd position right now.
And he's certainly doing a good job as well for the likes of Robert Lambert and Nicky Pedersen. They're going to be enjoying seeing Leon Manson out the back of this one. Can Manson make any way through here? Big scrap on us. Young sends one down the inside of Lahti. Lahti turns back. They're going to fall over each other here, and Manson trying to get through on the inside. He's just about blocked off there by Young. It's Saipodinov coming round to win the race. The scrap is still on for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and Lahti gets 2nd. Young gets 3rd, and there are no points for Leon Manson in heat number 14. What a blow there for Manson to no score in that race, leaving him with 8 overall in the meeting. But Emil moves on to 11.